Hello there and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be trying out the Stay Max Foundation from FOCALLURE. I just have to say I'm feeling incredibly proud of myself today because I realised that my previous filming setup it was not working. I mean, to say that it was amateur is a huge understatement. So I treated myself to this. It's kind of like a clamping stand that I got from Amazon, which, by the way, if you are a fan of filming or you create videos for YouTube or you just like to film you and your partner in the bedroom, whatever it is, then I would really recommend this camera stand. It clamps onto the edge of a table. It's got a big flexible wand, which don't we all love? A big flexible wand, and yeah, it's just brilliant. And I like the fact that I've got my camera like super raised up now, so like you can actually see the top of my head. You could never see the top of my head before. Anyway, I'm just really pleased with this. Also as well today, please don't be worried about me thinking that, you know, oh my gosh, does she have hypothermia? And no, I've definitely not been fingering Shrek. I was doing some tie-dye with the boys this morning and I didn't realise how messy tie-dyeing was, especially given the fact that it started snowing, so the boys, they just disappeared halfway through. Okay, so this is the FOCALLURE Stay Max Foundation that we're going to be reviewing today. It currently costs £3.25. You can get it from Aliexpress or you can buy it from FOCALLURE's own website, but it is more expensive on the FOCALLURE's own website. So I would definitely recommend that if this foundation turns out to be good and if you do want to buy it, definitely buy it through Aliexpress. I recently tried out UCAMB's new foundation, and you know, we touched upon the issue of lack of shades, and unfortunately this foundation doesn't come in anywhere near as extensive a shade range as, you know, we would probably all hope that it would. This foundation comes in 8 different shades, so I'm going to pop some pictures up on the screen now just so that you can see the different shades. But I mean, even the deepest shade of this foundation is called DUSK, and I mean, it literally looks like a beige. For me to sit here and say the shade range is disappointing, again, huge understatement. You know what, I could sit here all day and I could rant on about this, and I get the feeling that we're all in the same boat with our thoughts about this shade range. Unacceptable. If I'd probably spent more time looking at the shade range prior to actually spending my money on this, I don't think I would have spent my money on this.
Jay has a nosebleed.
Jay's got a nosebleed, oh no! Hello! Okay, so this foundation comes in this squeezy tube. It claims to have 20 grams of product in here, or 0.70 ounces. But actually, from what I can see, because you can kind of like peek through the tube there, and this only appears to be like, I don't know, filled up to the, like, oh, I think it does look rather awful, doesn't it? But try and just pretend it's not green. Anyway, I feel like it's probably only filled up to about here, which is a bit of a piss take. That would probably give you maybe 2 or 3 wears. Also, just to mention that this product does claim to be cruelty free. It took the shade 05, which is called LATTE. You know, I feel like LATTE in other shade ranges, like an ABH foundation or a NYX foundation, it would actually be quite deep. But no, in this foundation it looks lighter than a vanilla kind of shade. So, I mean, guys, there's 8 shades. I've got the 5th deepest, and look at my skin. And by the way, I did do some tanning last night because I fear that I'm getting a little bit addicted to self-tanning. My face is quite bronzed right now, so it'll be interesting to see if this matches me. As always, there is a complete lack of description or information on Aliexpress, and what is actually given to us, if anything, just creates more uncertainty and confusion about the product that I'm about to be putting on my face. I'm going to read this verbatim. It says, FOCALLURE Pore Blurring Matte Foundation Base Makeup Face Oil Control Cosmetics Lightweight Matte Finish Foundation. No punctuation at all. So I just read this as being a bunch of words that relate to foundation, and they've just kind of put them all together, and I don't believe any of them. The foundation has got 4.7 stars out of 5, and that's from a total of 501 orders. So, I mean, that is actually a really, really good rating from quite a large amount of orders. So, I mean, that's good. Oddly enough, 1,308 people have liked the foundation, but only 501 of them have actually bought it. They said, I'm going to like the picture, but no, I'm not going to part with my money for this shit. With all of that being said, I'm just going to get started. I'm going to be applying the foundation today with a sponge. Oh guys, I did not realise there's actually a mini description on the back of this tube. It says, the Stay Max Matte Liquid Foundation delivers long-wearing and high coverage with a natural matte finish. Perfect for a flawless look. Perfect for at home or on the go. Okay, so we're just going to get started, guys. As always with my foundation reviews, I like to try the foundation out on camera, do a bit of a first impression, and then I will usually, unless the foundation is so shit, I just make my mind up about it on the spot. But usually I do tend to like to wear foundation over a few days so that I can really understand the foundation, find out its good points, its bad points, and come back and give you like, you know, a thorough review and some really heavily detailed feedback on the foundation. If this foundation doesn't really piss me off after I've used it for the first time, then that's what we'll be doing. Unfortunately, You Can Be only made it to one wear. That was it. It was a one wear, and I know everything about this foundation kind of situation. So guys, this is the shade Latte. So I'm going to go in with the foundation. As I said, this shade would not usually match me. Luckily, I'm glad that I actually went in with the double self tanner. Do you know what? This is looking absolutely beautiful so far. We've got a good level of coverage. It actually seems to have quite a radiant finish, but I mean, that could simply just be because the foundation is still wet. Oh, it's got a nice smell. It did claim, I think, to have jojoba, whatever that. It did claim to have something in it, like an oil. And I think that's what I'm smelling. And it's actually incredibly pleasant. I know that some people don't really appreciate for their makeup to be smelling. But this smell is actually really fresh. A fresh smell. It actually smells of lavender. Yeah, it smells just of lavender. Many Aliexpress products can tend to smell a little bit on the chemical side of things. So yeah, it's actually really nice that this one does not smell of alcohol. But you know what? I'm actually really, really liking this. I think it's gone on beautifully, and I'm just loving this finish. Although I know we can't really judge the finish until everything's kind of dried down, but I'm actually not convinced this is going to end up being matte. I think this is probably going to end up being like a satin. I kind of hope that it doesn't turn matte, honestly, because I'm kind of enjoying having this bit of radiance. And also, how fast was that? So I've completed this one side of my face. Okay, now we're ready for the best bit. Well, it's my best bit anyway. The bit that I was denied in the You Can Be foundation first impression. This is my face without the foundation. We've got redness, we've got pores, we've got fine lines, we've got little scars from previous acne. And over here, we've got the side that I've just applied. And I, for one, think this looks amazing. Like, my skin looks so smooth. It's evened out my skin tone. It's even looking really good and smooth around the sides of my nose where I do have very large pores. It's looking good on my chin, which I do have such a problematic chin. I've got a lot of texture down there. It just can look absolutely horrible with certain foundations that just accentuate all of that texture. I am going to go outside and film a bit in natural light because I still can't get over how different that... By the way, if you've not watched my You Can Be foundation review, I recommend that you watch it, because like I still can't get over how powerful artificial lights actually are, because that foundation looks so perfect and flawless in artificial light, but as soon as I stepped foot outside, it looked horrific. I am going to be filming outside today, and I'm actually going to be making sure that I always show like any kind of base products in natural light, because I definitely think that these artificial lights here can be extremely like manipulating over what we see. They can make everything look really good, but then when you go outside it just looks shit. That lavender smell is a little bit overpowering now that I've almost got my full face done. It does smell quite strong. If you're not a fan of your makeup smelling of things, I don't think you'd like this, because it's actually making me feel a little bit queasy. I feel like a bowl of my grandma's potpourri has just exploded right in front of my face. Oh, do you know what though, guys? Like, I cannot fault this foundation at this point. Although I am a little bit bemused that this shade actually, I mean, it matches me really well. Yes, I am self-tanned, but okay, and that went on so fast. I barely used any product. We've got a good medium coverage here. Oh, I completely forgot to mention, I have dry skin. I find that with a lot of foundations, instantly my skin will feel incredibly like dehydrated and just dry and uncomfortable. So I'm always looking for a foundation that will add a little bit of like hydration to my skin, but without feeling heavy or, you know, mask-like. I definitely prefer medium coverage to high coverage, just because I am getting older now, and I feel like the fuller the coverage of the foundation, the more it's going to just accentuate all of those things you don't want accentuating. Okay, so I do definitely feel like this foundation is oxidizing a little bit, and I think that you can kind of see the difference between foundation that's kind of dried on my hand and the foundation that is still wet. So I have only been looking at this foundation in my monitor here in front of the artificial light. So I'm now going to take a moment to actually review this foundation in my mirror of reality. This really is the part of the video where I actually get to see how good the foundation actually looks. Do you know what, guys? It looks really good. Oh my gosh, I really think that this foundation looks good, although it does look a lot more orange here, and I can see that it's not matching my neck as well as it probably appears it is on camera. It looks really good around the nose. It actually even looks good on my chin, which is an achievement in itself. I think overall it's just, my skin look really, really good. It is definitely looking a little bit heavy just around my nose where I've got pores, you know, just kind of here and here. So it does look a little bit heavy there, and I do have a feeling that I think as it kind of dries down, it is going to actually start to accentuate all of the flaws on my chin a bit. But do you know what? I don't know. I'm up in the air. I definitely must say, though, it does look a lot better than I was kind of expecting. So, guys, I am going to just minimally set my face, because this foundation is definitely not one that's going to, like, set itself. But as usual, I'm only going to put a tiny bit of powder over this because I don't want to end up getting really dry. Yeah, I definitely would not say this foundation is matte, though. It does look to be more of I wouldn't even say satin. I'd say that this foundation is actually quite radiant and glowy. Can you see that? Like, if anything, it looks kind of oily already on my forehead, which is a worry. Like, I'm already thinking that if you have oily skin, I think this foundation wouldn't really cope too well. I can feel the foundation on my skin, and it does feel even now a little bit oily, and this coming from me with dry skin is saying something, you know. So I do think that if you've got oily skin, this foundation may not be a perfect match for you. So I said that I was not going to apply a lot of setting powder, and I did. I went ahead and I applied feck loads of it. So I mean, okay, you know, one test for me as to how good a foundation is, and this is just in terms of like how other makeup works with the foundation, I like to test how well I can contour, because I think with contour, you know, you're doing a lot of back and forth, and for me, I can pretty much tell which foundation is going to play well with my other products from when I contour. By the way, if you heard something that sounded like it could have been a trump, I just want to reassure you that was not a trump. It was not. I do feel like it could definitely be smoother, although maybe the foundation just hasn't all the way set down in place. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup. Then I'm going to nip outside. I'm going to film this in natural light just so that we can all actually see how does it look in reality. Because let's face it, artificial lights, they're not reality at all. The majority of people that are going to be wearing this foundation, I imagine, are going to be wearing this in their normal everyday lives, going out shopping, going to the office when lockdown's over, just going out and about. So, you know, me just sat here in front of these artificial lights saying it looks good is not really that helpful. Okay, I've finished, and I actually had a little bit of like a flash from the past kind of eye palette today, because I decided to pull out the beautiful Twilight palette by FOCALLURE. So this is the palette and the makeup product that actually started off my love affair with Aliexpress. This was and still is one of my very favourite eyeshadow palettes ever. I am going to be doing a video soon where I revisit this palette, I create an eye look, but I did use it today to create this look. The predominant shade that I've got on the lids is this shade here, which is a Twilight Lavender, and just look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. So anyway, guys, if you're interested in learning more about this palette or just seeing me create a look with it, then I will be putting a video up soon, because this palette is still just as bomb diggity down as it was 3 years ago. And I know I probably shouldn't be still using it 3 years. Oh, it's got a 24-month expiry date on there. So yeah, definitely probably it's unexpired at this point. But I mean, everything felt good. It worked well, and I'll probably end up with a pink eye later, but that's fine. I mean, I'll accept that. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go outside now and I'm going to show you how, and myself, because I don't even know. The makeup's looking great here. It's feeling great. But do you know what? Let's actually see, how does she really look? Okay, so this is me coming outside. As you can see, super snowy here today. So, okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is not looking great. Do you know what? This looks terrible. Like, can you see? Around my chin. Oh, someone's walking past, but anyway, this is it, and it's not looking all that great. I'm gonna go back inside. Someone's coming. Okay, so I am not outside, but I'm literally stood in front of a window, so we have got the full effect of natural light here, and as you can see, the foundation is not looking great, and I'm starting to think, should I mean, I probably should, and I will going forward film all of my like foundation reviews. I'll go outside and show you what they look like in natural light. But what I can tell you is the other foundation that I've reviewed recently, the Urban Decay Hydromaniac, the L'Oreal Skin Paradise. There's another one, but I can't remember what it is. But I have worn those out and about in my daily life, and they've looked fine. I think this one, if I don't move my face like this, it looks really good. But it's when I start to make expressions, move my mouth, you can really see all of this horrendous texture I've got on my chin, just around my mouth, and also, you know, these pores that I've got around my nose. You can really see that all of that's accentuated. The forehead's looking good, and the cheeks and jaws looking really good. It's just around this center point of my face. You know, this foundation is just making it look horrendous, and I think it's down to the fact that this is quite a full coverage, heavier coverage than I would usually wear. So yeah, I mean, again, this is a kind of sorry, can you see? These are my tie-dye curtains. These are not what I did today. These were what we did the other time we did tie-dye. But so I'm kind of at that same boat as to where I was at, you know, with the UCAB foundation, in that I don't think that I would ever wear this foundation out of the house, which is a shame, because I actually think it looks good everywhere else apart from the middle of my face. But I would not feel confident wearing this out of the house. However, it looked really super on camera, so I would definitely wear it for filming. But for me, I can tell you right now, this is just too full coverage for me, and it's just laying in all of that texture, and this is why I don't wear very full coverage foundations. I will see you in a couple of days, and I'll just give you some feedback on how this foundation wears. But I can tell you right now, it feels very comfy, but it does feel oily, and I do suspect that if you're naturally oily, this foundation would not feel great, because I think it would just feel really oily. So could I say oily any more times? I just don't know. Okay, so it's day 2 and I've decided that I'm going to apply a little bit less of the foundation today, because it did occur to me that potentially yesterday I went in a little bit too hard with the amount of foundation I applied, and maybe that's the reason why it was looking so cakey and heavy on my chin. But today I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt and I'm just going to apply a little bit less. Look, I'm just putting a bare minimum of product just around my face. Oh, I've put loads on my forehead though, so that's great. Tried to put less on today than I put on yesterday, but I can't really remember how much I actually put on yesterday, so I'm probably just putting the same amount on as I did yesterday. But at least I'm giving it a chance. Do you know what I mean? Oh, well. Oh, that smell, though. It is incredibly strong. Also, as well, I just want to say, just as I'm applying this, that I actually decided to look on the FOCALLURE official website last night, because it occurred to me that, you know, we were lacking a lot of it. Probably very important info about the foundation on Aliexpress. So I was kind of hoping that FOCALLURE's official site would just have more detail for us, and luckily they did. So I'm just going to read you out the description from the FOCALLURE's official website, which is actually proving quite the challenge to do as I'm actually applying the foundation. I would never describe my strong suit as being multitasking, you know what I mean? HD flawless matte finish, pore blurring, natural, no filter matte finish, and the long lasting foundation. That's the meaning for Stay Max Foundation. Featuring with oil control. By the way, I'm reading this out verbatim, so there are a few little kind of errors with how they've kind of worded this, but you know, we can forgive them, because if anyone asked me to write a description of a foundation in Chinese, I would do a lot worse than they've done here. Featuring with oil control and lightweight formula, a little goes full coverage for HD flawless matte finish, blurring pore, redness, acne speckle. You know what? They've managed to make acne scarring sound so cute with calling it acne speckle. I think I'm going to use that myself as a description going forward. 8 shades to choose from fair, light, medium and tan. So they're actually admitting themselves there that it's not deep. Like, this is nowhere near deep. It's just tan. I mean, I've got the fairest skin ever, but one day in Greece and I can have tan skin. Even just one application of self-tanner and I can look tan. So it contains jojoba seed oil and vitamin E for long-lasting moisture. It can, not that it will, it can provide you with anti-sweat, waterproof and transfer-proof long-lasting matte finish, creating a perfect pore-blurring natural no-filter base. Also, it is slightly more expensive on the FOCALLURE's official website. It's £6.58, so I would definitely recommend, if you are going to be purchasing this foundation, purchase it from Aliexpress, because it's half the price. So I read that description last night and honestly I'm still not convinced that this is a matte finish foundation. It just looks extremely radiant, and I know it's not dried down yet, but even after taking my photos after doing the first impression yesterday, I was thinking this is a radiant foundation. It's not even satin, it's radiant. My light has got a mind of its own today, so I do apologise if you can see any flashing. It's doing my fecking head in. Oh, she's flashing again. As if I'm not trying to film a video here. Don't worry about it, it's fine. I hired you just to come and sit and look pretty on the table. I mean, I don't need you to actually light me up. That's fine, just do your own thing. Like, we can pretend we're in a nightclub with flashing lights here. I'm sure everyone's going to really appreciate that who's watching the video. It won't be distracting at all. Anyway, guys, I just really wanted to give you that bit more info. Well, like, I definitely don't think this foundation is matte based on the wear yesterday, but I'm going to be wearing this again today. I'm just about to film a get ready with me, oddly enough featuring many FOCALLURE products. Also, just to mention as well, when I was flicking through my photos that I took yesterday when I was wearing the foundation, I was actually so impressed with how beautiful the foundation looked. Obviously, it definitely looked cakey on my chin, but everywhere else it looks so good, and this light is pissing me the off right now. Okay, so she is outside again, back by the bins, my new favourite place to be apparently. I would definitely say that the foundation looks better on my chin today and generally all of my face. It still does look kind of dry, but oh my gosh, I'm freezing. Let me just show you. Right, I'm going back in now. I'm freezing. Oh, my brow is stuck in the door. Oh my gosh, so my brow is literally stuck in the door handle. But anyway, guys, so I just figured, you know what? Like standing in front of a window is probably adequate natural light. It's absolutely freezing outside. It was almost snowing before. So anyway, I think you can kind of see the foundation quite well. It definitely could look better on my chin. Like, I'm still not happy with how it's looking on my chin, and also it is extremely accentuating the pores around my nose. So although I would say it looks moderately better today after applying less of the product, it still doesn't look as flawless as I would want it to look, and as flawless as my other favourite foundations make my skin look. Last night I was kind of laying in bed and I was thinking over this foundation and also the You Can Be foundation that I recently tried, and I have come to the conclusion that I think the reason why I don't like these foundations is because they are very full coverage, and even when you apply a little bit, it doesn't change the fact that the formula is still heavy. And I just think that as I'm approaching, I don't want to say approaching 40, oh my gosh, no, let's just say as I'm getting older now, I just feel like the fuller the coverage of the foundation, the more it just accentuates everything that I do not want I can't say that word either. Accentuating, guys. Oh my gosh, someone give me an award. I just feel like full coverage foundations are not for me. I've actually had this foundation on today for almost 6 hours. It's a Sunday today. We've not really been out anywhere because we're still in lockdown. Like, going out to Tesco now is an event. It's like, oh yes, we're off to Tesco. Yes, I've had the foundation on for quite some time, and although I think it's held up beautifully, like I have no issues whatsoever with how this has lasted. It feels really comfortable, other than it does feel a slight bit wet on my skin, or like tacky, or maybe a bit oily. Like, I can definitely feel it on my skin more than I would like to. I mean, it doesn't feel hugely uncomfortable or heavy. It's just not the comfiest foundation I've ever tried. I would definitely say that for me, I won't be using this foundation again just because it doesn't make me feel good about my skin. And I think that if we're putting any makeup on our face, it should be enhancing what we have, not accentuating all of the flaws and the lack of your perfect skin. I would definitely recommend this foundation if you have hardly any pores on your face, you don't have any texture on your skin, you're probably a teenager or in your 20s. I'm going to just let you be the judge of this. You've seen how the foundation looks on me. I think it feels nice, lasts well, but the coverage of it, just not flattering at all. So anyway, I'm going to just leave that up to you to kind of, see what you think of it. And please don't judge my hair right now. I know it looks terrible. Anyway, guys, I hope that this video has been somewhat useful to you. I appreciate the fact that, I don't know, I just feel like I've been quite negative in this video, and I really wanted to just make sure that I really gave this foundation the best chance of impressing me. But yeah, it's just not for me. Makeup, and particularly foundation, is super subjective. We all have such different skin types and different wants from a foundation, and yeah, this one just was not for me. But I could definitely see that probably a lot of people would like this foundation. It's just a personal preference. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go. But if I did miss anything out, which I'm definitely sure that I did, please feel free to ask me in the comments. But I am going to go now, and I'm going to wash this foundation off now because, yeah, I'm ready for it not to be on my face anymore. I'm ready to not see all the texture on my chin anymore. And I'm ready to live in denial that I have so many pores on my face. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully, if you come back, please come back. Please.